Frequency distributions and their graphs. Frequency distribution. When a data set has many entries, it is difficult to see a certain pattern. So what do? We organize the data set by grouping the data into intervals that we call classes. Then forming a frequency distribution table that contains classes, frequencies, midpoint, relative frequency, and cumulative frequency. The table that shows classes or intervals of data, we should have the number of data entries in each class, which is called the frequency. The number of classes should be from 5 to 20 to be able to detect any pattern. If it is more than that or less than that, we won't be able to see the pattern. The class width is the difference between the maximum and the minimum entries divided by the number of classes. The class width is the maximum minus the minimum divided by the number of classes. Let's see an example for that. The following sample data set lists the number of minutes 20 internet users spend on the internet. Construct a frequency distribution that has 5 classes. Those are the entries. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to find the minimum of those entries. What is the minimum? The minimum number here is 7. There is 7 on this 7 doesn't make any difference. So the minimum entry is 7. What about your maximum entry? My maximum entry is 51. The number of classes, as stated, 5 classes. So what did we say we're going to do? We said that we're going to have the maximum entry minus the minimum entry divided by the number of classes, which is 5. I get 44 divided by 5, which is 8.8. Almost 9. Very important that if you get a number, you're going to add 1 or approximate it to the nearest one. And then, how many classes do I have? I have 5. Starting from the minimum entry, which is 7. The class width altogether, including the first entry, should be 9. So what am I going to do? Count them. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what are you going to have? You're going to have 15. Is there an easier way to do that? Of course there is. So what are you going to do? You're going to add less 1 than what you've got here in your class after approximating it, which is 8. 7 plus 8 is 15. Shall I start by 15 here for the next class? No. Why not? Because then you're going to have 15 in 2 classes, which is not right. You need to have the next number, which is 16, in your next class. Do the same thing, which is either plus 8 or add them to make 9. 16 plus 8 is 24. And then another one next to it. The one after the 24, which is 25. 25, and then we go up to 33. And then 34 up to 42. And then 43 up to 51. Now let's see the table that we have constructed now. It has 5 classes and 20 entries, midpoint, relative frequency, cumulative frequency. The classes go from 7 to 15. How many users use the internet from between 7 to 15 minutes? 3 users. From 16 to 25, 4 users. From 25 to 33, 3 users. From 34 to 42, 6. From 43 to 51, 4 users. The total of 20 users. What about my midpoint? My midpoint is 7 plus 15 divided by 2, which makes 11. So, my midpoint here is 11. For the next class, my midpoint is 20. Third one, 29. 38, 47. What about my relative frequency? What is a relative frequency? Relative means it has to be something over something, related to. So relative means the number of users for the internet between 7 and 15 to the total number of users. So it is 3 over 20. For the next one, it is 2 over 20. For the third, 3 over 20. For the fourth, 3 over 10. And then for the last one, 2 over 10. The total relative frequency has to be f over n, which is always 1. Remember, if your relative frequency does not add up to 1, you are doing something wrong. Last part, the cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency means how many of my entries fall less than the number you have. How many of your entries are less than 15? 3. How many are less than 24? 7. How many are less than or equal 33? 10. How many are less than or equal 42? 16. How many are less than or equal 51? All my entries, 20. So all my entries fall less than or equal 51 minutes. Thank you.